So hi guys, today we have with us Zeeshan, BTech CSE undergraduate, currently in his third year, advocate at Huddle, developer advocate at Insidefi, founder and chapter lead of TPHxSRMIST KTR, and one of the upcoming face in the field of Web3.
Hello, everyone. First of all, a big thank you for Sarthak and Rachit for inviting me on this
Thank you so
podcast. Also, a big shout out to Vartalaap-Podcast. I believe that it will be big in the coming future. So, there's that. So, I'm Zeeshan, currently in my third year, working around in Web3. Started a year back as that's when I started my college community as well, TPHsRM. Then got into community management, evangelism, worked as an evangelist for Z. Currently, I'm an advocate for Huddle and also working as a developer advocate at Insidefi, which is again a crypto research platform where you can, research all your assets and rightfully invest along with some tips from the platform itself. So there's that. Also, yeah, as you can see behind me, I'm a big Manchester United fan. So trying to, live with this phase.
And how does it feel to be part of this podcast? How does it feel?
Well, honestly, I never thought I would be getting invited to a podcast. See, the thing was, I just continued doing what I liked after I, found it. And even before coming into Web3, I worked as a UI UX designer in my first year. Did an internship, did a freelance project. Later on, figured out कि मेरे लिए नहीं है ये. I mean, I'm not one of those persons who, can sit and work. And I need something which is kind of the role is same, but it has different many roles, and that's where a developer advocacy role or a developer role comes in, because it's made up of many roles. Sometimes you are representing a company at a conference. Sometimes you are into this technical documentation, you're writing technical docs, or sometimes you are creating videos for the clients or the non-tech clients to understand. So there's that. And continuing that, I just did what I liked, and touchwood, these are, ये चीज इसका फल अच्छा हुआ, and currently I'm here. Big thanks to Web3 for what like it has been, like the part it has played in my life. So yeah.
So Zeeshan, to talk about this, first of all, since you have told a big thanks to Web3, I would like to go deep into this. Explain Web3 in raw form, like keeping in mind like you're telling it to the high school graduates and freshies.
Cool. So if I explain it in a raw form, so it goes like this. Let's say you are familiar with centralization. Now, centralization is what? There is a certain database, and it's governed by a certain central body. Now, there are chances that in these cases, your data might get leaked, and this is what happened with Facebook a few years back. Now, let's consider Web3 as a decentralized. I mean, we should not consider it is actually a decentralized, a decentralized version of the Web2 space. So, in that, the owner or for here, let's say the high school students, you have the power in your own hands. For example, if you are taking social media, so the social media is completely decentralized. There is no central governing body, and once you have that power in your own hands, no one can mess with your social identity, and you can't, like, no one can mess with it, and no one can sell your data, because again it's not stored somewhere. It's just all have the ownership in your own hands. So Web3 is it's for the people.
Okay. Okay. I think Freshi may have understood something, but even I'm in the field of Web3 a little bit, and even Freshies ask me about Web3, and they tend to confuse at a similar point. It's a common point that crypto and blockchain are same or different. They tend to believe that is okay. Crypto and blockchain are the same thing. So just give a light upon it.
Yeah, like to add to this, Zishan, like it's always been like people are thinking that crypto is blockchain, but it's certainly not like that. So we want you to put some light upon this as
Yes. So yeah, that is a very common misconception for anyone who's getting started into this field of Web3. Even when I was getting started, I had a lot of confusions. Plus, उस time पे इतना bandwidth भी नहीं था मेरा कि I would go or reach out to someone. I made my connections as I went along. So yeah. So basically, crypto and blockchain, of course, these are not the same things. Web3, आप ऐसा consider कर सकते हो कि Web3 is made up of these two terms. It's crypto plus blockchain. What's blockchain and what's crypto? Now, crypto stands for cryptocurrencies. These currencies, these give out tokens for certain blockchains.
Hmm.
Blockchain के अंडर if blockchain is a superset, crypto is a subset part of it.
Got
So
it.
या ब्लॉकचेन्स तो नॉर्मल चेन्स होती हैं. फॉर
Hmm.
एग्जांपल आपका इथेरियम हो गया या सोलाना हो गया. एंड इनके जो टोकन्स होते हैं, दीज प्ले रोल इन द क्रिप्टो करेंसी पार्ट ऑफ इट, जहाँ पे पीपल इन्वेस्ट एंड इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, होल्ड करते हैं, एंड देयर इज दैट. एंड ब्लॉकचेन साइड में आप इट्स ब्लॉकचेन को इसको ज्यादा हम लोग डेवलपर साइड मान सकते हैं,
Hmm.
where people develop more as compared to investing. So these are two parts of this Web3 topic, and it's more or less it's made up of it. It's blockchain plus crypto. That's equal to Web3.
So, like, since we have introduced you as like advocate at Huddle and then advocate at Insidefi, I would like to dig deep into this term, like what is advocate and developer advocate in the field of Web3?
Cool. So before explaining my job, which is of a developer advocate, there is I would like to like shed light upon a common misconception, which is prevalent in 80 to 85% of the Web3 companies. The thing is, or even like in general, not just Web3, even in Web2, the thing is, people don't actually know what a developer or a developer advocate is.
Hmm.
बहुत लोगों को लगता है कि डेवलपर एडवोकेट मींस कम्युनिटी मैनेज जस्ट कम्युनिटी मैनेजमेंट और जस्ट सोशल मीडिया मैनेजमेंट. आई मीन
Exactly.
दैट्स रॉन्ग. टू बी रियली ऑनेस्ट, डेवलपर एडवोकेट का एक बहुत छोटा सा रोल होता है सोशल मीडिया मैनेजमेंट में, दैट टू इफ इट्स अ स्टार्टअप एंड इफ दे कांट हायर मोर पीपल.
Hmm.
इफ यू आर वर्किंग एट अ प्रॉपर कंपनी, फॉर एग्जांपल पॉलीगॉन, तो वहां पे आपका डेवलपर एडवोकेट सोशल मीडिया नहीं चलाएगा ऑब्वियसली. सो अब मैं अपने रोल पे थोड़ा लाइक डाइव
Yeah.
करता हूँ. So, developer advocate is basically made up of two terms. One is developer and one is advocate. So, काफी बार क्या होता है, for example, we have a certain product. For example, कोई L2, we are making an L2, जैसे Polygon हो. So, when we are reaching out to people about this, or when we have non-tech clients, or they are into tech, but not too much. So, that is where a developer advocate comes in, where he bridges the gap between a developer and a non-tech client. वो एक ब्रिज
Okay.
की तरह एक्ट करता है in order to explain his tech to non-tech people. And that is the reason a developer, one of the most important jobs of a developer advocate is to write documentation.
Hmm.
क्योंकि आपको एक्सप्लेन करना है सिंपल वर्ड्स में टू द क्लाइंट. आप क्लाइंट फेस कर रहे हो, एंड ऑनेस्टली एक डेवलपर का जॉब भी नहीं है क्लाइंट फेस करके उसको एक्सप्लेन करना. डेवलपर
Exactly.
एडवोकेट इज नेसेसरी. देन इफ ऑल्सो डेवलपर एडवोकेट्स के लिए नॉट एवरी कंपनी शुड हैव डेवलपर एडवोकेट. इज लाइक इट इज, आई मीन, आप कोई ऐप बना रहे हो तो उसका आप उसके लिए डेवरल नहीं ढूंढो. आप नाम देखो, इट्स डेव एंड रेल. डेव का है वहां पे, आप थोड़ी ना आप इंटीग्रेट करोगे किसी हैकाथॉन में. तो जो डेवलपर टूल्स बनाती हैं कंपनीज, फॉर एग्जांपल एसडीकेज हो गए या
Oh.
सीएलआईज हो गई या इवन चेन्स हो गई, फॉर एग्जांपल स्क्रॉल. सो वहां पे डेवलपर एडवोकेट इज नेसेसरी, क्योंकि if these companies are going or having tracks at a hackathon, they need a person who represents them, who represents them in the hackathon and also helps students alongside. So वहां पे स्टूडेंट्स, क्योंकि आप देखो स्टूडेंट्स सीख रहे हैं अभी, एंड जो टेक है उसको थोड़ा लेमैन टर्म्स में एक्सप्लेन करना है, कंप्लीटली नहीं, बट आप कंप्लीटली टेक्निकल भी नहीं जा सकते क्योंकि एंड ऑफ द डे तो वो स्टूडेंट्स है, राइट. सो वो एक चीज है. नाउ वहां पे डेवलपर एडवोकेट इज नेसेसरी. उसके अलावा देयर इज डेवलपर इवेंजलिज्म. बेसिकली आप आप आउटरीच करते हो, आपका जो आपकी कम्युनिटी है, टेक कम्युनिटी, यू टेल पीपल, देन दैट्स I mean, in short, that is what the job of a developer
So,
advocate
like,
is.
developer advocate is someone who is a developer as well as someone who can, put up his product or whatever
Yes.
associated to a company is to the other clients. So it's a
Yes.
mixture of like public speaking skills as well as
Coding
developer
skills.
like technical skills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not core
And
developing or
huh,
like not too much into development, but yes, you should know enough to understand the product, and if someone cross questions you, you should know how to answer it.
okay, before I hand over this to like Rachit goes on with the next thing, I have two questions for you. First of all, for our people, what is layer 1 and what is layer 2? And the next question which I have related to this is like how much development is the correct development for developer advocates, because people confuse it with community management. Like you have also discussed, people just take it in a way like, oh, it's a job of
That
community
happens.
management,
Yeah.
and they are like, no technical skills are required. So this
Hmm.
is something which I want you to emphasize on.
Okay, adding to the point is, like Sarthak said, how much development is required. Even I want to ask how much the marketing thing or the non-technical skills, the communication skills are required. Like how much
Exactly.
percent, like 70, 30, what percent is required to become a developer or developer?
Hmm.
Cool. I'll be very brief about the first question,
Yep.
which is what is layer one and layer two.
Huh.
So layer one is basically आपका जो proper chains होते हैं. For example, there is Solana, there is Ethereum. आप उनको layer one मान लो. And if we build something on these chains, this is what constitutes to layer two. For example, Polygon. It's built on Ethereum virtual machine, right? So this EVM part of Polygon, that's L1, and this the Polygon itself, it's L2. So this is what layer one and layer two is. Now the second question, as आपने बोला कि misconceptions बहुत हैं, and to be really honest, misconceptions इंडिया में काफी ज्यादा है in this
Exactly.
as compared to the US या फिर यूरोप हो गया. So yes, आपने जैसे पूछा कि हाउ मच डेवलपमेंट इज नेसेसरी. सो वहां पे देखो, इट वेरीज. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल तो आपको मतलब बेसिक्स आना चाहिए. यू शुड नो एनफ कि आप एक फुल स्टैक एप्लीकेशन बनाना जानते हो. If you have projects, if you have technical projects, it's good because first कंपनी आपको एनालाइज करती है. इफ डेवलपर एडवोकेट में इट्स वन ऑफ द एंड लाइक पार्ट्स ऑफ एनालिसिस फॉर applying कि आपका GitHub, they'll check your GitHub and how much you have worked. If you have worked with a full stack Web3 app, that's good to go. Because and also you should know how to explain your like project well. That's one thing. Now how much development is necessary? See, अभी तक का जितना, I'm not that much experience from
Hmm.
what I have experience right now. What I have realized is the development experience, it varies from company to company. कुछ
Exactly.
कंपनीज होती हैं जो बहुत दे आर कोर इनटू टेक, और देयर आर कंपनीज हु आर इनटू टेक बट नॉट टू मच. फॉर एग्जांपल, if you have push, now push is a notification service, right?
Hmm.
So with push, you should of course आपको notification service, how to integrate those SDKs and other stuff, that वो सब आना चाहिए. But you don't need to go deep into layer ones or layer two when you are I mean, that's what I believe कि when you are working with services, और जो services का SDK होता है, even in Hurdle they have this WebSocket RTC, right? So वहाँ पे भी you should know just ना जितना आपको push में आना चाहिए. और अब when you deep dive, अब आपका for example we have this infra company Seron. तो when you go
हाँ.
with Seron, that's an infrastructure company. तो वहां पे आपको टेक और थोड़ा ज्यादा आना चाहिए एज कम्पेयर टू जो सर्विसेज वाली कंपनीज होती है, जो डैप्स की कंपनीज होती है. सो फ्रॉम व्हाट आई हैव लर्नड, बिकॉज इवन आई यूज्ड टू हैव दिस मिस लाइक confusion not so long ago. मैं बहुत confused था. So what I have learned is that it like the development which is necessary, it varies from company to company. आप कंपनी पे जाओ, आप कंपनी के अगर जो गिटहब है, गिटहब ओपन करो, टूल्स हैं आपके, क्रिएट अ प्रोजेक्ट, नो हाउ इट वर्क्स, एंड देन यू गो आस्क द कंपनी अबाउट लाइक मैंने ये इंटीग्रेट किया, आई एम हैविंग दिस एरर और समथिंग लाइक दैट. उससे आप लर्न भी करोगे एंड देयर इज अ चांस दैट द कंपनी विल बी इंटरेस्टेड इन हैविंग you over for the developer advocacy.
Open source basically, no? Like taking the GitHub things,
Yeah,
integrating something.
yes. Oh, yes. So open source, yes, open source contributing does play a part. So yeah, I mean, yeah, open source contributing also. So वो आपका हेल्प करता है एक्चुअली आपका एप्लीकेशन स्ट्रॉन्ग करने में. तो
Hmm.
अब रिगार्डिंग मिसकॉन्सेप्शंस, द मिसकॉन्सेप्शंस का रीजन ये है कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ सैचुरेशन इन द वेब3 क्राउड राइट नाउ, एंड 90% ऑफ द वेब3 क्राउड आर कॉलेज फोक्स जो अभी नए नए
Yeah.
सीखे.
Exactly.
Because Joe, the people who are experienced, they like they get permanent with a company, and majorly they shift abroad.
I believe the people who are experienced are someone who were into Web 2 and now with
Yeah,
time have switched
Web3.
into Web 3.
yes,
Hmm.
not just experience. I mean, they have worked, and like
Hmm.
unke misconceptions have been cleared out pretty well because of their like work and जो experience है. I mean, experience does play a part आपके misconceptions clear करने में. मेरे बहुत से कंफ्यूजन्स मेरे लाइक अभी के जो मेरा करंट एक्सपीरियंस है उसकी वजह से क्लियर. now I mean see मैंने भी I'll be honest मैंने भी हाइप में स्टार्ट किया था वेब3 सो उस टाइम पे नया नया लाइक कि वेब3 एंड ब्लॉकचेन लाइक करो सही से मस्त चीज है ये वो बट द थिंग इज कि बहुत लोग स्टार्ट करते हैं बट बहुतों को पता नहीं होता है कि हो क्या रहा है दे आर जस्ट गोइंग ऑन विद द क्राउड एंड this is something I advise to every college student. Please, before moving on to Web3, if there is something else you would like to do, please try it out. If you are in your first year, try करो, explore करो चीजें. Don't settle for some just one thing. Web3 में आप second year में भी घुस सकते हो. It's not. The crowd is very welcoming. To be really honest, कोई like there's not too much toxicity. And आप please explore करो. Don't just start because Web3, like getting into Web3 requires Web2 knowledge.
This I have also
आप
come across. Like in
yes,
stepping into Web3, you need Web2 knowledge, not like you can directly step into it. So yeah,
I mean आप explain कैसे करोगे Web3
हाँ,
का concept अगर आपको Web2 ही
exactly.
नहीं आता होगा. So वो चीज है. And please stay away from these misconception वाली companies. उन जिनको लगता है कि community management is developer advocacy. So yeah, educate yourself and please understand what a developer advocate or a developer relations person does and then start applying.
You have explained pretty good, and now just you are given 2 to 3 advice. So I like to request that you give a perfect roadmap or a roadmap for the student who wants to come into Web3. Roadmap, okay, do this, do this, do this,
Okay.
do this 5 steps. Okay, you'll be into Web3, you'll be at a good position or whatever. And you can even do that, like give the roles in Web3, like what you can do in Web3 ecosystem as a developer, anything.
Basically, basically a roadmap for a completely new person who's into Web2 to step into Web3.
First of all, I'll give you a roadmap, but
Hmm.
again, there is no certain or fixed roadmap. Everyone's journey is
हाँ,
different, and
exactly.
सबका like the path is different. I'll just like instead of giving a roadmap, I'll just tell you what worked with me.
Like yeah,
Or
you go with your thought because in the last podcast, Prayasu also came and he also told the roadmap. There's not a certain roadmap to everything. It's
yeah,
like what we
exactly.
followed. So yeah,
What we followed exactly.
हाँ,
So yes, so starting with Web2 and since आपने बोला कि Web2 में experience है, I'll take I'll take the person as a front end guy जो अभी
hmm.
अपना like who has just entered into second year जिसको अभी वही who has worked with React Tailwind उतना I'll take that. Now coming to he wants to shift to Web3, right? So see, first of all, learn some backend. Learn some backend because the Web3 and Web2 के जो web applications होते हैं उनमें backend का difference आता है. Front end remains the same. So पहले तो first of all, please, this goes to every college student, whoever comes across this podcast. Please clear out your JavaScript basics. बहुत जरूरी है. उससे पहले React पे मत move करो. बहुत बहुत बड़ी गड़बड़ होती है कॉलेजेस में. बहुत लोग हम बहुत ये हाल बहुत खराब है कि कॉलेज मतलब कॉलेज में लोगों को फ्रेमवर्क्स आता है बट बेसिक्स नहीं आ पाते. प्लीज क्लियर देम आउट देन शिफ्ट. वो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि नहीं आ रहा है लोगों को. ये एक चीज है. तो जब आप वंस यू आर फेमिलियर विद जावास्क्रिप्ट फ्रेमवर्क्स होते हैं. देयर इज Web3.js, देयर इज Ether.js. लर्न देम.
हाँ,
Learn how to use these frameworks and connect them with your front end. वहां से एक बेसिक एप्लीकेशन का स्ट्रक्चर आ जाता है. वॉलेट कनेक्ट एंड ऑल दैट गोज ऑन. सो ये डेवलपमेंट पार्ट हो गया. एंड देन उसके बाद वंस यू लर्न हाउ टू मेक अ फुल स्टैक वेब3 एप्लीकेशन. आई मीन ये एक बेसिक फुल स्टैक वेब3 एप्लीकेशन का स्ट्रक्चर है. देयर इज फ्रंट एंड नॉर्मल and
content
then
normal.
Web2 या Web3.js and Ether.js के through you just integrate it with your front end and it's done. But of course learn how to integrate it क्योंकि integration is something जहाँ पे हर बार issues आते हैं, be it an experienced developer or a noob developer. Integration is the only thing जो hackathons में भी बहुत परेशान करती है, to be really
Exactly.
honest. So वहाँ पे आप just learn that and उसके बाद once you do that, try out try out these SDKs or just tools offered by multiple companies. देन फिर आप देखो कि पॉलीगॉन कैसे इंटीग्रेट करना है एंड लाइक अदर एल टूल्स. सो वो एक दिस इज जो बेस मतलब इट विल हेल्प यू गेट स्टार्टेड. इट वोंट टेक यू एनीवेयर. इट विल जस्ट हेल्प यू गेट स्टार्टेड. उसके बाद figure out करो if you are someone who loves to sit with your computer and code. You can code for hours. You just basically love how to code. Core code में हो आप. Or figure out if you are someone who loves to code. Yes, but apart from loving to code, you love how to explain your stuff to people. In general, आपको explanation पसंद है and all. And if that happens with you, and also if you love travel, although that travel is very hectic, but if you love travel, then there is a chance that this developer advocacy role might be for you as well.
Oh.
So these are the two roadmaps which synced with me. I used to be a designer, but I don't design now. So a design ka I won't say because the crowd is very different. Also, but before that, the most important thing is make your network and be active on Twitter.
I was coming to this point of Twitter, like how much, like to be very honest, Twitter in Web3 and how to be a Twitter pro.
Okay,
Or is it
so
required to be a Twitter pro in order to get into the field of Web3?
so like what do you mean by pro exactly?
Pro exactly means someone who is scrolling Twitter as if he's scrolling his Instagram on daily
Okay.
basis. Like
Okay.
high level of Twitter usage.
Okay. So I'll explain my Twitter journey.
Sure.
So what happened was I started my Twitter as a football fan account. United. That's why there is a reason there is still Zeeshan underscore UTD in my handle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was in 2021 when I was starting college. 21 के end तक it's 21 के end क्या 21 के like mid of June तक it started shifting to tech. Web 2 में गया. That's how I came to know about folks like these are like Web 2 folks, for example, Siddharth Delwal or
No,
Kunal Pishwa. And shout out to Kunal Pishwa. That uh, उसकी वजह से I got to know about developer advocacy before coming into college, and that helped me giving me a head start. When I was people were figuring out what they want to do, I was working with clubs and technical communities in my college, and
Yeah.
getting a head start never hurts. It actually helps you a lot in your long run. So there is that. Then there was one of my mentors called Aishika, who's a junior developer advocate at DigitalOcean. She was my college senior after graduate हो गई. So big shout out to her as well. She helped me a lot, helping me understand what actual developer advocacy is, and it's not something social media management. So ठीक है, that's something. Now coming to Twitter वाला part. So Twitter के लिए see there are some things which I have to be kept in mind. First of all, अगर आप अपना Twitter grow कर रहे हो, if it's from zero, so कुछ महीनों तक एक्चुअली आपको थोड़ा ज्यादा एक्टिव होना पड़ेगा if you want to grow your Twitter. फॉर एग्जाम्पल जैसे I'll take a junior जो स्टार्ट कर रहा है. तो देखो, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल growing into Twitter means growing into communities. It's kind of
Exactly.
synonymous to that.
Yeah.
So first of all, come to college, get involved in communities as much as possible. वहां से, क्योंकि देखो कम्युनिटी से जो लर्निंग होती है वो आप किसी क्लासरूम में नहीं कर पाते हो.
Point.
And Touchwood SRM has one of the best technical communities all over India.
To be very honest.
Yeah.
To be very honest, yes.
Communities में involve हो, whatever you have made, just post that out on Twitter. वो होते हैं ना, learn in public is that term.
Exactly.
So, hey, I've made this. What are your thoughts on this? Yes. What are your thoughts on this? And देखो, there is a chance कि starting में कोई comments ना आए, कोई likes ना आए, repost ना आए. And देखो वो discourage होने की बात नहीं है. वो चीज वही there's nothing to be discouraged about. It's just a head start. So just first of all, be consistent, post regularly. That's very important. Post regularly, follow the right accounts. It's also very important. Otherwise, your algorithm will get worse over time. Follow the right accounts. For example, if you are into design, so just go to the search bar, search UI UX. There will be a search result will come, एक pop-up होगा search result. Click वहाँ पे accounts का एक option रहता है, उस पे जाओ. Follow around 5 to 10 accounts you see from the list, and once you follow them, your algorithm will start improving. Once that happens, you'll see multiple accounts which that certain account has reposted and other stuff. So from that point, you can that will help you understand, and that will actually help you in your learning. After that, if you see something like a design review or something, try to comment out what are your thoughts on a particular design. In that way, it will help you with your interaction and other stuff.
Yeah.
Also, try to be more involved into spaces. When I
Huh.
started with Twitter, spaces started a bit late. So
Bit late.
spaces
Yeah.
was never a thing for me, but still, get involved into spaces, because spaces help you in your speaking skills a lot.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
yes, so like these are the three things which should be enough to get you started as a noob. And after that, once you make your connections, it's not really that hard to be you know
Before I went into the next topic, complete different topic from this, how Twitter, like daily I come across that, how Twitter is helping in off-campus placements,
yes.
opportunities, and internships. That thing, if you tell us, keeping in mind of the first years and the new people out there. So how
Yeah,
does it?
going to come to the
How does it? How does it should be used? Because people at times fear from learning public. Like they are like,
Mhm.
okay, we have to keep it to ourselves, and we just don't feel confident enough to put this up. So these are the things which I want like you to discuss with us.
Okay, so first of all, the learning public sphere.
Yeah,
Everyone has that. At one point, even you might have had that. Even I have met up.
exactly.
I actually had that, and I actually understand this fear. It basically comes out from the apprehension key. If that design of the code
Huh.
doesn't look good, what will someone say, right? So
Exactly.
yes, see, first of all, if you as soon as you learn in public, you'll for example, if you have created something, you have coded something. For example, you coded a certain front end, and you show it to your peers, or like your college students, your college friends, right? So that circle, that is a very restricted circle of around 5 to 10 folks.
Hmm.
And there is a chance that they might only understand front end as much as you do, or even lesser.
Yeah.
So वहां पे एक चीज आ जाती है कि they might not be able to criticize it if there are any critical
Hmm.
points. And if that happens, due to that, you will have that belief that I code very well. And once you set out for placements, be it off campus or on campus,
Hmm.
you'll be thrashed by the company or the person who is taking the interview, that what kind of code is this. In order
Exactly.
to, yeah, see, eventually you'll have to give it out to the public, if not to the online public, to your office folks. Even that is a certain like amount of public, right? So
Yeah.
वहां पे आप लर्निंग पब्लिक कर रहे हो, वहां पे भी क्रिटिकल एनालिसिस मिलेगा. So why not try to create your code better by giving it out to the general public on Twitter,
Hmm.
which consists of god level devs ho gaye, for
Huh.
example, people who are actually working at really great positions. Someone is a senior engineer at Polygon, or someone works at the Ethereum Foundation. So
Hmm.
if you get criticized for your code by them, that's actually a good thing. And try to take that in a good manner. Don't
Hmm.
get disheartened. Try to implement what they have what they have told, because they have learned from their experience. And that thing, that actually goes a long way, because if you learn and implement these concepts sooner than the people or your seniors, there's a chance that it will again, as I told previously about a head start, वहां पे भी एक बूस्ट मिल जाएगा आपके उसको कोड को, and eventually to your career as well. Because if then you'll show your code to someone, you'll get to know that that person will get to know, okay, he has implemented corrections and he has implemented something which I was not expecting from a first year. So once
Okay.
that happens, na, that will go a long way with you, and your career will actually be like, it will rise exponentially as compared to the people who are not learning in public.
Huh.
So there's that.
adding to this one question, recently, like whenever I scroll Twitter, I can see posts like, okay, got placement through Twitter, got placement through that. But certainly in LinkedIn, the Web3 growth is not that much, I believe, because I have never seen someone is posting, okay, I got into this Web3 company through LinkedIn or something, only on Twitter. Why it is so? And like, then like LinkedIn is how much useful than Twitter, or what's the difference then?
Like how, basically the question is how LinkedIn is being completely different when it comes to Web3 and takes a back seat. And when it comes to Web2, LinkedIn takes up the front seat and Twitter takes up the back seat.
The reason, Twitter and LinkedIn play different roles for Web3 and Web2 is what I believe is the Web3 folks.
I feel maybe due to the community.
So I'll tell you. So see, yeah, as you said, due to the community, that's one. The second is, I think the folks, the folks who are working at big Web3 companies, they are more approachable on Twitter as compared to LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Because with LinkedIn Pay, if you there are certain points that you can't DM a person due to restrictions or
Yeah.
DM restrictions, right? On Twitter also it's there for verified accounts, but if you like comment on latest posts for this for that person is an like 99 there's a 99% chance that that person will DM you himself or herself if you ask him to. So
Yeah.
the approach is one thing, and the point is the communities have stemmed from Twitter, and now even Twitter has implemented a community wala, community tab.
Yeah.
So there's that. Plus, Twitter does not have a lot of spam posts as compared to
Exactly.
LinkedIn.
This is also something,
So
yeah.
people which people generate through ChatGPT, and they're like a long 4 paragraphs post about consistency. I mean, no, you understand consistency, but no one needs a 4 paragraph post, especially a fresh.
Defining it in, glorious way, like, okay,
That is the
That
biggest thing in
is
the
instead of,
world.
yeah,
that is only something I do.
ba-
Yeah, that
basically
is only some.
instead of
Yeah,
holding hair like this, it's like holding hair like this.
We are like this, exactly.
that is something I only do in my answer sheets. That's it.
Every
So
one of us.
SRM things.
yeah. So
Every one of us.
basically, see, uh, the point is कि a fresher doesn't need to know what consistency is in 4 paragraphs. He just need to be consistent. And the point is Twitter has that limit of like certain
Posting
words.
things.
तो वहाँ पे आप paragraphs post भी नहीं कर सकते हो unless you have a verified account. So and also the people who post big paragraphs, they are actually helpful because they tell their journey about how they got into Web3 and they got big. So the point is that a lot of spam posts are there on LinkedIn, and that is the reason it doesn't play a very big role in the lives of the Web3 people. But yeah, so why yeah? And yes, the approach is another thing. The people are more approachable on Twitter and more welcoming, to be really honest.
Okay.
Okay, coming forward to the next question, it may be related or not, maybe not, but going through it, like what awareness should be created of Web3? Like the new freshies should know, okay, what is Web3? The awareness should be created. What is your point, and how should, if you are given chance, how will you create the awareness of Web3 to all the freshies and stuff?
So awareness, first of all, there has been a certain amount of awareness.
Before
Yeah.
Zeeshan, before you start, the best awareness for the Web3 is tell them there is a lot of money and they just come like that's what has happened over the ages. When you tell people,
Yeah,
Web3 money, they all start running towards that. Yeah.
That happened with me too.
Jokes
So
aside,
I'll tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, jokes aside, yes. See, so the thing is, I'll agree with the part that there is a lot of money, yes. That's there. But I mean, that you'll only get that if you work up to that point.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like free money or easy money. It's if you are good enough, you'll get up to that certain point, and if you are not, you'll earn like up to a menial amount. That's it. So basically, as you said about awareness, right? So see, first of all, Web3 has been very saturated from college people. So there has been a general awareness which has been created. What I think is awareness should be created about clearing out the misconceptions
Hmm.
which have arisen in Web3 since the past 1 year, because that's when Web3 the crowd has started onboarding to Web3. So there is a lot of misconceptions and awareness should be created regarding that. For example, anyone can host a certain Twitter space, debunking
Yeah.
Web3 myths 101. For example, the first
Yeah.
topic should be money. The second topic should be, developer advocacy, telling them what is that, what it actually is. So there's that. And awareness, there is already a
Oh,
general awareness among the college folks, but there isn't too much awareness regarding the misconceptions, and that is the reason a lot of people get confused.
Okay, I'm taking my point. Uh, the first how I got into Web3 was like obviously it was a technical club from our college, and we
oh,
hosted an hackathon called Hackverse, and there I went as an volunteer as an organization, and we helped them. There only I got much clarity about what is Web3, how can we be there. So hackathon played a major role in me in my career for like going into Web3. So how do you feel like? Like going into hackathon for Web3 thing or learning that?
Yes, so as a developer, it's hackathons are the best way to get you started if it's in Web3. Also, hackathons are one of the they also help play an important role in getting you internships. For example,
exactly.
the current internship I'm doing, that I got through Solana Hackers.
Okay.
So basically, hackathons are full of opportunities. Even as a non-developer, even if you are a designer, there are people hiring for design. There, even if they are not, also that is also something which is common with meetups and hackathons. There was a three-step process which I followed, which helped me, get in contact with so many people and grew my network even more. So the first one was, whenever you interact with a person who is from a good company, or if you want to work for the company, make the connection with him on LinkedIn and Twitter, connect with him, and send your proof of work within 24 hours. Because because that person goes to a lot of meetups and all, that's basically one of his jobs. So there's a chance that he might forget who you were. So within
Exactly.
24 hours, send, and this advice was also given to me by one of my seniors, that within 24 hours send in your proof of work. uh, like उसकी वजह से ये होगा कि that person will get to know that, first, you are serious, and second, he'll keep you at the back of his mind. That's one thing. The second thing is, see, so after this, do uh, try connecting. And also, if you are, don't just connect,
Hmm.
send a proof of work, and just end it. Don't try to interact with these folks on a day to, not just day to day. Day to day is basically spam. Try to
Like
interact with
regularly.
these folks, yeah, regularly. Yes. For example, if you are creating a certain project, send them out like, hey, I created this project, what do you think
Hmm.
about it? In that way, that person will also feel included, and that will actually help you create a bond with him,
Hmm.
which will go a long way, in such a way that even if that person changes his or her company, he'll have that certain bond with you, and and he might actually refer you for a role.
Hmm.
So this is what making connections means. Connections don't mean that you are just sending out follow requests on Twitter and LinkedIn. Connections actually mean that you are interacting and talking to them in such a way that you guys are creating a particular professional bond, and that job professional is advising you on your college, or on your career, on your projects. So this is the basic crux of what connections are, and this is what actually helped me.
So yeah, last podcast he said creating connection. He thinks it's a wrong word. He's like creating friendships for
Yeah,
professional work and everything. So that works better because creating a friend, having a regular chat with it. So they'll be okay. Okay, he's serious about something. We can
exactly.
consider him at some work.
Yes, that actually helps. And yes, as Priyasubi has said, it is more of creating a professional friendship with these people, because they'll understand if you if you reach out to them consistently, and if you even if you pester them consistently, they'll understand that yes, you are serious about this, and yes, he actually wants to do. Otherwise, no one would go
Yeah.
to these lengths to talk with me about the role or something.
One more thing, Zishan, like now you told hackathons from the perspective of developers and
Hmm.
people who are going there. Now I want to know you the hackathons from these Web3 companies' point of view, because
Okay.
this plays a huge role when you develop on their product or their chain or different things. How does it helps companies? I know it can be a quite digging deep into the answer and maybe you know can become a controversial as well. But how companies are benefited? Because if you have to learn Web3, the best place is hackathons to
Yes.
start with, like to get an idea, okay, what is actually happening in real.
Happiness. So, see, from a company's perspective,
Mm.
two things generally happen when a company, gives out a track for a hackathon. For example, let's take E3DM. Let's just take a company called ABC.
Hmm.
So, if this ABC company is coming, it's giving out its SDKs, and it's offering a certain amount of bounty for integrating and making a good application, right? So see, yeah, in this part there are, I think, 3 to 4 points which happens with all the companies. First of all, their promotion, which is the obvious one, right? Their promotion, which they give out by making people use their SDKs, their developer tools, and then giving out swags. That's one thing. Then the second is, this is something which I realized after I went to a lot of hackathons as a mentor or as a participant. People working with the SDKs, working with the tools, the students generally tend to find some inconsistencies or some weak points in that. And you know that when they inform it, the people clear it. The people solve it, or they make changes in their repo, and then they push it out. So going for a hackathon, instead of it can be done like that, that instead of paying a certain company for your code audit, you go to hackathons and just help let people identify the vulnerabilities in your code. You can, like, of course they'll later pay, but again,
Uh,
if you can solve it before, and if you can solve the inconsistencies in your code before,
mm,
why would you, that will help you, right?
yeah,
And from a student's perspective, that's actually because end of the day, these are the students are budding developers.
exactly,
They'll go on and work as developers in the Web3 field. So
exactly.
it's better that you find your inconsistencies early on, and that too, if a hacker from a hackathon has found that, it's
Okay.
better that another company which has been in partnership with you, they don't, like, unki taraf se pata chalne se, it's better
Mm,
that a
mm,
student tells you. In that way,
हाँ,
yeah, just a small circle of people will know that there is this inconsistency.
mm,
You'll solve it, and that's done.
हाँ,
There's no bad publicity, kuch nahi hoga.
yeah,
The third thing is, these hackathons sometimes help out with the, like, help these companies out with the hiring process. If a developer is very good, and if they are reaching out consistently about opportunities, the people generally tend to invite them for an interview at least. This is actually what happened with me with Insidefi. The team was there.
mm,
We were we were just interacting with folks. The team was there. I met with these folks. I told them about my proof of work, because at
yeah,
that point I was looking for a switch. So I told them about my work. Also, as a developer advocate, keep a Notion doc ready, which shows all of your work,
mm,
because a developer advocate doesn't have a single job. He has many jobs.
yeah. So he cannot make a resume and fit all of that into it. So
Exactly.
better to create a.
Create a Notion doc.
हाँ,
Number of events organized, the content you have written,
mm,
put in links, the amount of, as a developer advocate in a startup, a job, part of your job is social media management, not just
exactly.
entirely social media
Mm,
management, but a part. So put in your proof of work with social media management, and how you help bring traction to the profile. Technical documentation, these are the four things. You can figure it out yourself as you go on,
Yeah.
putting your proof of work. So that keep a Notion doc ready. I kept it ready in Redby. Then be on Twitter, make your connections and the people. If you see some tweets like, "Yeah, I'm coming to this meetup, let's meet."
Huh.
Interact with those tweets. Interact with those tweets because that actually help you in making connection, and eventually will help you in making a particular good connection at a particular company. So what happened with me was these folks were there. I met them. I was like interacting with everyone. So I met these folks. Like they were looking for a community person. So I asked them that see, I won't be just doing community. I don't want to be a community manager now. I want to go into developer advocacy and developer evangelism as such.
Okay.
So they're like, yeah, sure. Let's set up an interview.
Hmm.
An interview was done. They were happy with whatever task they gave me, and yes, also they with apart from the technical aspect, since it's a startup, so I am looking for some of the non-tech parts as well. But as it grows on, I'll shift to what core developer advocacy is, and not just social media. So that's how I got my job.
Okay. To first of all, like to Doug, one more thing. Like I just really badly wanted to talk to you about this, and it was decided by me and Rachit as well. Quite from the past, like when we'll meet Zeeshan, we'll talk about this. First of all, congratulations for starting your advocate journey at Huddle. And the biggest thing in Web3 currently is, like, to be very honest, when we go into Twitter, Huddle. What is Huddle 01 and how it works and what's the future?
So yes, Huddle 01 is basically your decentralized audio and video calling
Yeah.
platform. They are shifting to SDKs, and this is actually a good thing that it's not just on their website that you can use Huddle. You can integrate it with your D apps, and that is the reason Huddle came to hackathons because they were telling. I mean, they had their track, and you can integrate their SDKs, which is something I have not seen in any audio and video platform that they give out SDKs कि आप integrate करो and then use it in your
Yeah.
like decentralized applications. So I got to know about Huddle from one of my seniors called Rishabh Bansal.
Huh.
I yeah. So उनके through पता चला कि what Huddle is. I applied for the advocate program because see, so also advocate program is very different from developer advocate. These two
Hmm.
are completely unrelated. They are not similar in any way to any first year or any like person who doesn't know too much. To anyone watching this thing is these things are completely unrelated. Advocate programs are basically these ambassador programs which help these companies in creating the communities inside particular cities. If there is a city ambassador program, or if you are an ambassador in general, so you'll just help out in creating awareness about the
Huh.
product as your other ambassadors are doing. Even when I was in Zeef, my role as an evangelist was organize workshops, take
Yeah.
those workshops, represent Zeef at hackathons.
Hmm.
So actually, even Hackverse 1.2 was my
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
experience as a Zeev evangelist and also as a mentor. So a big thank you for that. Uh, then, so what happened was, so advocate programs don't pay you as
Yeah.
a fresher. They help you grow your network exponentially. That I
Huh.
agree. When I was in Zeef and when I was getting started into Web3, when I was not finding opportunities, I worked as an evangelist, and they helped me grow my network exponentially. And through that network, I later leveraged it and moved to community manager, then now a developer advocate. So वो एक चीज है. Advocate programs, there are there I mean, you'll feel like, yeah, they are not paying me, so it's a bad thing. See, they that might be that I mean, that is your view. So that might be a bad thing for you, but see what it's offering for you as a starter into Web3. So वो एक चीज है. Make, if you are like into advocacy, make good use of the advocate programs, because that's how you'll improve your speaking skills or and public speaking skills. So वो एक चीज है. Now even while even if you have that proof of work with you,
Yeah.
and वहां से that will help you in a long, like in the long run. So वो एक that's another thing.
The one thing I would like to explain to the people is proof of work is what all things you have done over the period of time, and you just show that to the people using Notion doc or your resume. Or for example, a resume is also a kind of proof of work itself. What is like Huddle 01, which you explained like from the developer's point of view as well. But I want to explain, ask one more thing into this. What's the future? How do you see the future of Huddle 01? And is Huddle 01 a competition to things like Google Meet and Teams and all that stuff?
So see, personally, I don't think it's a competition. First of all, with the future is great for Adult 01 with the work
Yeah.
they are doing, and with the way they are moving ahead with the community part as well. The future is great. So no, like no other misconceptions about that. The future is great, and that's my opinion. So apart from that, with the competition point of view, I don't think it's more of a competition. It's a kind of like a synergetic bond, because with Google Meets and all, it's
Hmm.
basically a Web 2 application, and with Huddle it's a Web 3 application. That's one thing. But the thing which helps Huddle 01 differ from other video and audio calling platforms is the way it helps the developer integrate their tools, integrate their texts in their decentralized applications. आप कहीं पे भी आप
Huh.
Huddle 01 integrate कर सकते हो, and then that is something. The reason why Huddle 01 would go a long way is because it's very developer friendly. It's just not for meets and calls, but also you can help you with the integration, and you can kind of have that ownership of the
Hmm.
platform itself on the application. So that is what will help Huddle 01.
To be very honest, I would like to add on to this point. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
Rachit.
when I see the Huddle website, there is like become a developer or become start building. There's a tab like that, and wherever
Start
you can
building.
go, they provide the API keys, all the resources which are required to build for Huddle. So it's like open public. So it's like
And one,
very
yeah.
interactive with the normal people
Yes.
who are developers and things.
And over the time, they've evolved great. Like 6 months back, when we used to open
Yeah.
Huddle, it was facing some issues. Or when you get more than 100 people into it, we were having some issues. Now you can add on to more than 300 and 500 people, I guess, or up to 300, 500 people. So they are
Yeah.
working at a great pace. So yeah, that's a great thing.
Can you just explain what is TPHxSRMIST in this in a layman thing for the
Yeah.
freshies?
Is Web 3.
Also Zeeshan,
Yeah.
before you start, explain the future of Web3 and how SRM is playing a huge role in this Web 3.0 thing.
First of all, with the future of Web3, the future of Web3 is huge. It's bright and it's great if we clear out all the
Oh,
misconceptions. Because if the misconceptions will be there, it will give rise to bigger misconceptions, and that would eventually end well, right? So the future is great. Once we end the misconceptions, the future is exponential. It's great. It's very scalable, and the future has good plans for Web3. Is like from the way it's been exponentially evolving and growing, the plans are good. So this is about the future of Web3. Now with the coming to SRM, the best thing about SRM is the amount of Web3 in like Web3 education it has been giving out through its technical clubs. No one knows Web3 as much as SRM students do.
exactly.
Exactly.
The reason for it being, the reason for this being the amount of clubs we have on campus.
Hmm.
Uh, Even in Ramapuram, there is Codeshare SRM. There's Codeshare SRM. In KTR, there is a TPHxSRMIST. There is blockchain SRM. So the amount of Web3 education there and the Web3 info these guys
Hmm.
are providing, they actually help students understand what what Web3 actually is, And even when you go to any conferences or meetups, even if it's in Bangalore, the largest number of people are from SRM.
SRM, yeah.
Yes. So SRM is playing a huge role in helping students shift on board to Web3 from Web2. And even with this, the future is bright for folks from SRM if these clubs continue the way they function now. And if they people attend the meetups and represent these clubs at them, and the club vision remains the same throughout, the future will be great for folks from SRM. And that is the reason it's been a lot of people into Web3 are from SRM, even at a senior level or even as a beginner level.
Yeah.
A lot of folks work in Web3 are SRMites.
Or SRM pass out itself. Even in the ETH India,
Yeah.
when the data came, it was found that
Yeah.
college
280
applicants.
SRM.
people.
Hmm.
280
Yes, yes,
people
yes.
applied for
SRM was the largest.
ETH India was from SRM people, and that was the highest.
SRM itself. So
Yeah.
So coming to the last and the ending dying phases of our podcast, Zeeshan, one piece of advice, your like in layman terms, in simple terms, in one line or so, one piece of advice for the people who are starting into Web3 and who like want to get into it and develop some interest into it. One piece of advice from your side.
So before telling this, I think we skipped the TPHsRM wala question.
Ha,
So just
fine.
yeah. So a little bit about TPHsRM. So TPHsRM is a community I created in at the start of 2022. It was just a WhatsApp group.
Hmm.
Fast forward to 6 months, around June and July, I officially established it as a college club. And after that, we have had two events. One was with Tezos, and the
Yeah.
second one was the Push BRB tour in Chennai. The Chennai tour was itself hosted in SRM, and that was through the help of TPH SRM helped them organize it. So these are the two events which we have done. Apart from that, a lot of teams from TPH SRM represent. I mean, they went to ETH India and
Hmm.
won bounties, quadratic voting prizes, and like there's that. So TPHsRM basically is a Web3 club which helps your onboarding from Web2 to Web3 easier, because as an individual it's a bit difficult getting the right resources and other stuff. With TPHsRM you have the right connections and the right people which will help you shift.
Yeah.
So the also something else, I'm having this pan India hackathon organized
Hmm.
by TPHsRM on January 30 and 31st.
Great.
It's offline for the people in Chennai.
Hmm.
So if you apply and if your application gets accepted, do attend. It's in Mini Hall 2. Sarthak might be knowing. So do attend for people in Chennai. It's offline. For people outside Chennai, it's completely online. The details would go out today. I think it will be the posters will be released today. So
And
do
we'll
attend
put in
that
the
because
we'll put in the description. Yeah, we'll put in the
Put in the
description as well.
description as well.
so because yeah,
Hmm.
it will help you make your it will help you in good networking as well, apart from
Hmm.
participating in the hackathon. So yes, so that's there's that. Now a certain piece of advice
Exactly.
uh, for anyone who's starting into Web3 or even has a little bit of interest in Web3. I'll just scroll it back down to a fresher, a certain piece of advice to a fresher who wants to start Web3. So first of all, before getting into Web3, पहले तो try to understand if Web3 is something you really would love to do after the end of these 4 years. Because
Ha.
if it's not, you don't want to regret while working at a place, because that thing is something which which will destroy you mentally, physically, in every way possible. That's one thing. Second of all, before moving on to Web3, please explore Web2 completely. Make backends, create front ends, integrate them, create full stack applications. If you don't like tech, you should move into design, make some Web2 designs, and even as a community, get involved in some Web2 communities first, because that will help you gain experience. And because to be really honest, the Web3 crowd is not as small, as it used to be a year back. It's very saturated. So in order to get involved into Web3, you have to make your mark and you have to establish yourself. And also the most important point which I always highlight is please make good connections and please
Exactly.
grow online. Or by that I mean grow your Twitter, make connections, and the connections which you make, please reach out to them, not just for the sake of it. As the Prayasu has said, create professional friendships rather than creating connections. So do that, and just yeah, all the best. And if you need any help, my DMs are there. You can just text me
Sure,
on Twitter and I'll be there.
sure. This was told by Prayasu as well. Like the future of Web3 is very,
Very
great in upcoming times.
Right.
So this is something now which gets established as the fact that we have a great future in Web3 because people fear that there is no future, there's this, there's that. So with you and him both coming onto our podcast and clearing this, I'm very happy with this point.
You being here, amazing podcast
Thanks a
with
lot,
you.
Jishan.
And I hope like many young
shout out to
youngsters or
Vartalaap.
freshies like get knowledge from this podcast if they go through it.
Like the way we have described, Dishan has particularly described Web3 in this podcast, I feel like laymen will be get interested. Like people who are very much into new into college will get interested to it and will definitely work with it in future. So thanks a lot, Dishan. Thanks a lot for joining
Thank
us.
you for inviting me.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.